Virtually everyone on the planet has heard her voice. Whenever that iconic melody plays, millions of people get goosebumps, burst into tears, and sing along at the top of their lungs. It became one of the biggest movie soundtracks in modern cinema history. But the most bizarre part about it, almost nobody who watched the movie had any idea whose voice they were actually listening to. For years, this singer lived like a ghost at the very top of the music industry. She possessed a world-class vocal range that generated hundreds of millions of dollars, yet her name remained buried deep within the fine print while a famous Hollywood actress took all the credit. Then came a fate-altering night in 2022. Tired of hiding in the shadows, she did something exceptionally risky. She walked onto the stage of Britain's Got Talent. When her face finally hit TV screens and her massive secret came to light, the room stopped breathing. But what she hoped would be a triumphant moment of self-validation instantly spiraled into one of the biggest TV scandals of the decade. The performance that was supposed to inspire millions instead unleashed a wave of public outrage, accusations of fixing, and calls for a massive boycott. How did an unknown studio artist who sang a multi-platinum global hit get accused of rigging a competition? What really happened behind closed doors when the media turned against her? And most importantly, where did Loren vanish to once the TV cameras stopped rolling? The answers reveal the dark, unspoken reality of the modern music business. Before the world learned her name, Loren was the definition of a background worker in the music industry. She operated as a session singer, a studio vocalist whose primary job was recording vocal guides for famous pop stars, laying down backing tracks, or recording in isolated booths without ever catching a glimpse of a camera lens. Years earlier, Loren had briefly attempted a traditional run on The Voice in the United States under Adam. But her journey ended abruptly, and the public quickly moved on. That early rejection left Loren deeply shaken. Terrified of public failure, she retreated entirely behind the scenes, finding safety in the isolation of quiet recording studios. Then came a life-changing call from the production team of the blockbuster movie musical The Greatest Showman. The studio desperately needed an unbelievable vocal force for the character of Jenny. The actress playing the role could act brilliantly, but when it came to landing high notes, they needed someone with elite-tier vocal mechanics. Loren stepped into the booth and recorded the track Never Enough. When the movie hit theaters, Never Enough exploded into an absolute global phenomenon. The album sold millions of copies, went multi-platinum, and gathered billions of streams worldwide. But there was a massive catch. As audiences wept in theaters, everyone assumed the stunning actress on screen was doing the actual singing. The magnificent voice belonged to Loren, but the fame, glory, and standing ovations were claimed entirely by someone else. Loren was left alone in her apartment, quietly crying as her voice reshaped pop culture. That deep-seated pain of going uncredited slowly transformed into an unstoppable desire to reclaim her identity. 4 years after The Greatest Showman shattered box office records, Loren reached a breaking point. She realized that if she didn't take a massive leap of faith, she would spend her entire life as a faceless voice. In April 2022, Loren quietly bought a plane ticket to London and auditioned for Britain's Got Talent. Dressed casually and walking nervously onto the massive stage, neither the judges nor the live audience had any idea who she was. The atmosphere in the arena turned ice cold the moment the judges asked about her background. With a trembling voice, Loren dropped a bombshell. "I'm the singer of the song Never Enough from The Greatest Showman." A wave of gasps echoed through the auditorium. Loren took a deep breath, the opening piano notes echoed through the hall, and she delivered the vocal of a lifetime live on stage. Her performance was so overwhelmingly powerful that Judge Holden smashed the golden buzzer, sending Loren straight into the live semifinals. Overnight, the audition video went viral, racking up tens of millions of views in less than 24 hours. Media outlets hailed it as the most emotional moment in reality TV history. But as the standing ovations faded, a massive storm was quietly brewing online. Within hours of the audition airing on national television, the wave of public admiration crashed into an angry wall of backlash. Social media pages for Britain's Got Talent were flooded with thousands of furious comments. Hashtags alleging that the show was staged and rigged began trending globally. Viewers felt utterly manipulated by the narrative. Critics argued that the core identity of Britain's Got Talent was to discover underdog, amateur talent, street buskers, school kids, or local community acts who had never tasted professional success. Having a multi-platinum artist who had already worked alongside Hollywood elite felt completely unfair. Outraged fans demanded to know how an everyday amateur could possibly compete against an artist who had already sung on an Oscar-nominated soundtrack. Allegations spread that the producers had deliberately handpicked Loren to artificially boost TV ratings. The online hostility grew so intense that calls for her immediate disqualification started sweeping the internet. The situation grew dangerously out of hand, forcing the show's top executives to intervene. Facing an unprecedented public relations crisis, the creator and head judge of the franchise decided to step forward and address the public outrage directly. He issued an official defense of Loren across major news platforms to set the record straight. Insisted that the competition was built to offer second chances to deserving artists, regardless of their past background. He pointed out that despite her vocal presence on a hit movie track, Loren had never been signed to a major record label under her own name. She hadn't made a fortune from the song, her face remained totally unknown to the public, and she was still fighting for survival as an independent artist trying to pay her monthly bills. Loren also addressed the intense criticism with genuine vulnerability. She shared how terrifying it was to live in the shadows for years, crippled by stage fright and self-doubt. Taking the stage wasn't a cheap cash grab, it was her personal way of overcoming deep trauma. Yet despite her honesty and defense, public cynicism was deeply rooted. The damage to her reputation was already done, and the ultimate price of that backlash was about to be extracted during the grand finale. When the night of the grand finale arrived, the atmosphere inside the studio was thick with tension. Loren took the stage and performed an original song, desperately aiming to prove that she wasn't just a studio singer but a complete artist. Once again, her vocals executed notes that seemed humanly impossible. When the live public vote was tallied at the end of the broadcast, the lingering public resentment became brutally obvious. Weighted down by the weeks of negative media press, Loren failed to reach the top 3, finishing in 9th place. For most contestants, landing near the bottom of a TV finale signals the absolute end of their career. But for Loren, losing that night proved to be the ultimate blessing in disguise. By missing out on the first-place crown, Loren avoided the notoriously restrictive multi-year management contracts that labels typically force upon winning contestants. She was completely free from corporate control. She walked off that stage having achieved the one thing she never had before. Her face was forever linked to her world-class voice in the minds of millions. And what happened next would leave all her online critics utterly speechless. Rather than waiting around for permission from major music executives, Loren seized complete control over her independent career. Her fearless TV run caught the attention of some of the most respected icons in music history. Legendary tenor recognized her extraordinary gift and personally invited her to join him as a featured guest on his global arena tour. From massive venues across North America to sold-out shows in the Middle East, Loren stood side by side with, belting out classical pop duets for tens of thousands of paying fans. Shortly after, 16-time Grammy-winning producer David Foster brought her along on his worldwide tour as a lead featured vocalist. She went on to duet with pop icon Michael, release her own independent EPs like Late Bloomer, and was even chosen by global gaming giants to record the official theme song for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. No lip-syncing actresses, no hidden studio names. Loren had successfully stormed the global music scene on her own terms, but her journey still had one more dramatic chapter left to unfold. In early 2024, news broke that sent shockwaves through her fan base once again. Loren was invited to participate in America's Got Talent Fantasy League, a special All-Stars edition gathering 40 of the most incredible acts in the franchise's global history. The decision caught many off guard. Why would someone who was already touring the world throw herself back into the high-stress environment of reality TV? Loren admitted to feeling terrified of the potential backlash. But this time, her mindset was entirely different. She wasn't an insecure singer begging for validation. She was a confident powerhouse in total control of her destiny. Drafted onto his personal team, Loren performed a brand new vocal shredding arrangement of Never Enough, hitting insanely high key changes that she had never dared to perform live on television before. The performance brought the entire arena to its feet. She fought her way all the way to the finals and earned widespread critical acclaim. This time around, there were no bitter scandals or claims of rigging. The public finally embraced her not as a cheater, but as one of the most gifted vocal talents of her generation. Today, Loren's life looks entirely different from her days spent hiding in dark recording studios. Away from the spotlight, she found profound personal happiness. In early 2025, she celebrated an intimate wedding in New York City, marrying her longtime partner who had stood by her side through every media storm and career hurdle. Musically, she continues to flourish as a completely independent force. She released the Showman Sessions, a project where she officially re-recorded beloved theatrical tracks on her own terms. She was even tapped to lend her vocals to the official World Championships, showcasing the remarkable range that has made her an industry staple. She now sells out her own headlining solo shows, performing for thousands of dedicated fans who buy tickets not for a movie character or a TV scandal, but purely to hear Loren sing. Her long, agonizing journey from an anonymous booth to global recognition is finally complete. She conquered her greatest fears and won the hardest battle of all, taking full ownership of her own voice. Loren's story is a raw reminder of how brutal the modern music industry can be. For years, corporate systems pushed an incredible artist into the shadows for commercial convenience. And when she finally stood up to demand her rightful place in the sun, the world initially punished her with scrutiny and outrage. Yet her resilience proves a powerful point. Manufactured TV drama fades away, but undeniable talent always finds a way to endure. The voice behind Never Enough no longer belongs to an anonymous ghost. The face, the name, and the voice finally belong to Loren. Looking back at the intense backlash she endured just to claim ownership of her work, do you think reality talent shows are genuinely unfair to background professionals? Or was Loren completely justified in using that stage to step into the light? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories behind the scenes of the entertainment world. See you in the next video.